Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I also hope that the lighting in this video today is okay because, yeah, stuff was happening with the natural light and it was all like blown out, like everything just white. So I made it dark instead. I hope it's not too dark. But yeah, hope you're doing well, having a good weekend so far. Thought we could come on and look at Am I the A-hole today? So let's get started. The first one, I kind of just clicked on it because I think the person in the story sounds pathetic and I want to see whether that's justified. So am I the asshole for getting mad at my parents for not letting me say ovary in front of my dad because it grosses him out when I'm sick with an ovarian cyst? So I'm currently living with my parents because of the bad housing market, and I had a big falling out with my mum and dad today. It was the first beautiful day in a long time and I desperately wanted to be outside enjoying it, but I've been in excruciating pain in the last few days due to an ovarian cyst. I have a history of these and the pain has been so bad, etc. Unfortunately, today was just a really hard day because I was nauseous and feeling extreme sharp pains, so I was stuck in bed all day. Around 6:30, I finally get out of bed and attempt to go out for an hour and try to make something of the day. My dad asks, "What's up?" To which I respond, "I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. It's probably an ovarian cyst rupturing. I'll be alright," and then I left. When I get back, my mum is home from work sitting with my dad on the couch watching TV. I sit with him, still in visible pain, and my mum starts with me. "Honey, I know your dad hates when you talk about your lady problems. You should just talk to me about it." Fuck off. Back note, my dad does hate any words related to the reproductive system of any woman. Don't ask me why, because he's pathetic. Uterus, ovary, fallopian tubes all make him ick. It's been a past joke, but I've always found him a little bit ridiculous. It's one thing if it's one word, but all words relating to that. I proceed to tell my mum, "I don't appreciate a lecture right now. I'm in extreme pain and I do have an ovarian cyst that feels like it's rupturing. It's a medical issue. I'm not trying to piss him off." Well, he starts getting agitated, saying I need to stop, while I start getting agitated and being lectured about a word that is what is medically happening to my body right now. I explained if my brother didn't like the word amputation, he's super squeamish, but I had to get one, he'd have to deal with it, and that my dad needed to deal with it too. They both started yelling at me that I was being disgusting, fuck off, and that no man will ever want to hear those words. No. If you're old enough to be a father, you're old enough to fucking deal with medical terms, okay? Fuck off. This is pathetic. Let's finish this post. I went back and forth with my mum via text saying that I found this to be pathetic, exactly, and that he was a man-child. I'm in pain. Maybe I overreacted, so I need another opinion. What's the verdict, everyone? Am I the asshole? Absolutely fucking not. And I honestly think even this like whole backstory that you've gone into with the fact that you have medical issues with your ovaries, fine, but I don't think that's even needed because this person is a grown-ass man, and the wife as well, or the mum, being like, "Oh, just talk to me about your lady problems, no man is ever going to want to hear about that." Like, that is pathetic. What century are you living in? Like, people should be able to talk about medical things, you know, and I think it would be one thing to say like, "I don't want to see an ovary," you know, like I'm not into blood and guts, but hearing the word ovary when like your daughter is just stating a fact that she's in pain and one of her ovaries is probably like has a cyst and is probably rupturing, like to go off on the daughter because of that, that is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Not the asshole. Oh my god, so pathetic. Next, am I the asshole for being upset that my mum is pregnant? So I'm a 13-year-old male and woke up today to my mum coming home from staying at her boyfriend's as she usually does. Who's looking after you? You're only 13 years old. And she usually stays at the boyfriend's house? I'm guessing you don't usually stay there, so who's looking after you? I got ready for school, dressed, brushed teeth, etc. and she told me she had a secret to tell me, and that's when she told me that she was having a baby. I did not believe her at first and told her to stop, and I walked away to my room slightly upset at the idea. She suddenly started telling me why it wouldn't be a bad thing, such as, "I will be home more." This is not even a good reason, as I like it when I'm home alone overnight, but still she should be a parent to you regardless. And I began to realise she wasn't joking. I once again told her to stop and just leave me alone, but she continued. I started crying, I don't even know why, and she did not take it nicely, and she began screaming that I never let her be happy and did not have a reason to be upset. I have 3 other siblings, 13-year-old male. Oh, so you're both 13 years old? Okay. 3 siblings, 13-year-old male, 11-year-old male, and 9-year-old female, and they do not know yet, but they most likely won't be happy. We struggle with money, and adding another child would be even worse. See if it's like at the point where your 13-year-old child is worried about money. Probably not the best financial situation, probably not the best home situation, because you've got 4 kids under the age of 14. You're barely there with them overnight, and now you're going to have another baby. And even the kid is concerned about that. Like, I don't think this is something that a child should normally be concerned about. So this just speaks to like the level of not goodness that's going on. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, the space in our house is not enough for a baby either. The only spare room is our kitchen and bathroom. Even our living room is taken up by my brother, especially when her boyfriend comes along, which is a couple of times a week. With his kids as well, adding another 3 people to the house. Jesus. Me and my 13-year-old brother don't even like him or his kids. They are 9-year-old female and 9-year-old male. They are just children that come to our house and piss us off by being so loud to us. The boyfriend just spends money on my mum and tries to do the same to us. I feel like he's trying to buy us or something, as if I would like him if he just gave us things. He also likes to just hurt us, not in an abusive way or anything, of course, but he puts us in headlocks and sits on us, etc. That's not fucking funny. Get away from me. That is not funny. Ugh. I understand he's trying to joke around, but I don't like it how he doesn't stop when I say I'm hurt or ask him to stop. He just laughs and carries on. He sounds like a dick. This is also often. My dad lives close, but he and my mum haven't lived together since I was about 6, but they're still married for some reason, okay? The other day I saw a paper about divorces and in her contacts divorce courts. She wants to marry him, it seems, and it seems so soon. They have known each other for about 3 or 4 months. She has never really paid attention to me anyways. She admits this herself, yet it fucking seems like it. And always used to pay attention to my siblings instead. She will pay less attention to me now with the baby. I just wanted to rant and know if I'm really being an asshole about it. Sorry if some things are not well wrote or misinfo. I'm glad to give answers in the comments if it gets any attention, thanks. So am I the asshole for being upset that my mum is pregnant? Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, they've only been together for like 3 or 4 months, so you're like, who is this man? I barely know him, and I don't like his kids either. He's then like putting you in headlocks, sitting on you all the time, which is not funny, not cool. Like, I barely fucking know you, and you think it's okay to put your ass on my face? Even if you'd known him for 13 years, like your whole life, that would not be acceptable behaviour. Like, that's just not cool. So you're already like not having a good feeling about this guy who's basically trying to buy you off. Then your mum is like, hee, let me tell you a secret, I'm pregnant. I don't pay attention to you, don't pay attention to your siblings, but if I paid attention to anyone, it was your siblings but not you. But you should be happy that I'm having a baby, you never let me be happy. What the fuck? It sounds as if she's one of these people that thinks that having kids ruined her life, but that somehow having another child is going to change the situation just magically. As I say, I think the fact that as a 13-year-old child, this is making you worried about your financial situation, your living situation. I think that just speaks to how bad the situation already is. So I don't think you're the asshole for being upset that your mum is pregnant, especially with the way that she just, not even announced it, just the way she like casually said it as if it was nothing. No, I don't think you're the asshole, and I feel sorry for you. I really do. That's a shame. Next, am I the asshole for telling my aunt that the reason none of her nieces or nephews like her is because of all her comments after her funeral? So I'm a 21-year-old female, come from a huge family where I have many cousins ranging from 25 years old to 7. One thing all my cousins and I have in common is that we all dislike this aunt who's 56, who we'll call E. E has a horrible habit of commenting on the bodies of myself and all of my cousins. You know how I feel about that. Today was a bad day for me. Today was a bad day for my family because we had to go to a funeral for an uncle, and because of this, a lot of the family were in formal wear. All day today, E has been making comments about everyone. For some context, she looked at the 7-year-old and told her she should have worn a skirt that reached her ankles because she has horrible cankles. Body shaming a 7-year-old child? That's disgusting. She told a male cousin of mine who was crying to man up and wipe his tears away. Fuck off, that is horrible. Because he was embarrassing her by crying. And she told me that I shouldn't have worn leggings with my dress because you could see all the scars on my legs with the one that I was wearing. I was in a bad accident a year and a half ago and it left me with large patches of scars that I'm not insecure about. Good for you, no reason to be insecure about it. Fuck this aunt. She's a fucking dick. This all boiled over when we were at my parents' house tonight and she was talking with my mother and her other sisters and decided to tell them that they needed to tell their children to go on diets and exercise or they would become obese. You need to shut the fuck up. Oh my god. I will admit I snapped and yelled at her that she needs to get a life and get a grip on herself and that she should realise that none of her nieces or nephews love her, that her own children just barely tolerate her, that her making comments every time she's around people and trying to put them down makes everyone hate her. She started bawling her eyes out, embarrassment, when I said that, and I was told by my mother that I was extremely disrespectful to her and that when we had literally just left her brother's funeral. And what about her being disrespectful to everybody else? What, so it's okay for her to do it, but no one else can say something to her when she's fucking brought it on herself and you're only telling the truth? Anyway, my cousins are all on my side that I was right to say it, but I'm getting messages that I was the asshole for telling her that on the day of her brother's funeral. So am I the asshole for telling her that none of her nieces and nephews love her after the funeral? Nah, she seems like a horrible, nasty, disgusting, toxic person. And you know that way, it's like 2 wrongs don't make a right. And, you know, don't get down in the gutter with people, blah, 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 all the rest of it. But also, you reap what you sow. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. At some point, shit's gotta come back around. And just because you were the person delivering this dose of karma to her doesn't mean that you're the asshole for doing it. Some people just need to be fucking told. Like, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I'm like, even though it doesn't seem like on these videos, I'm actually generally a very like patient, compassionate person. So even if someone is like super out of line, super bothering me, I'll, like my kind of, not mantra, but maybe you could call it that, my kind of thing is like, behave in a way that you'll be proud of tomorrow. You know, like don't do stuff that you're going to be ashamed of tomorrow. So conduct yourself in a way that, you know, you would like to think of yourself, you would like to be seen, etc. You get the point. So I'm kind of like, okay, if someone is like doing bad things, then it's like, okay, I'm fine. Stay classy, it's okay. You're above this. And then it gets to a point of, you know what? You need to be fucking told, and that's when I go into what other people deem to be like lawyer mode, where I'm like making all the points, bringing out all the facts, showing all the receipts to how you are a fucking asshole and you need to sort your life out. So it seems like that's the situation here. This E person is just like a horrible, nasty person, and OP is just like sick of it and giving it back to her. So yeah, not the asshole, good for you. Next. Am I the asshole for not giving my house to my sister-in-law? Throwaway for obvious reasons. This happened 2 nights ago and I'm still feeling some type of way about it. So background. OP is a 30-year-old female and their husband, 32-year-old male, has a younger sister who is OP's sister-in-law and is 25. The sister-in-law is currently going through a divorce with 4 children. My husband and I also have 4 children. My husband and I live on a very quiet country back road in our little town, us and his family being the only residents of the road. So both my sisters and their families and his parents live within walking distance of our house. My husband and I have been married for 7 years and have 4 young children. My husband bought the land we live on from his parents when he was 18, and when we got married, we built a house on it. We designed our house with a big family in mind and designed it to be our forever home. It has never been a thought to move or look elsewhere. So, sister-in-law going through a divorce. She's struggling to say the least. She was in a very toxic relationship with her ex, with her contributing just as much as he was, and he filed for divorce and moved out, leaving the 4 kids with her. My mother-in-law, so mother of the sister-in-law, called my husband 2 nights ago and asked if we could come over for a chat. We get there and my in-laws and sister-in-law are sitting on the couch like they were just staging some kind of intervention, which was really strange. My mother-in-law didn't beat around the bush at all. She explained how sister-in-law's ex was getting the house in the divorce and they would be homeless within the month if we didn't give her our home. What, just give her? What? Then where the fuck are they supposed to live? It honestly took me a second to comprehend what she had even said because it was so out of left field. My husband didn't need that second and looked them dead in the eyes and said, no, good for you. In-laws started telling us things like, you guys don't need all that house. The 2 parents and the 4 children, they have more people in the house than what the sister-in-law would have. And why would you just give your house to another person? Where the fuck are you going to live? You guys can move into one of the neighbourhoods in town. She can move into one of the neighbourhoods in town. You guys can just build a new house. As if it's that fucking easy. Why can't she just build a new house? I offered to open up our playroom and guest bedroom to them until they could find somewhere to live. Completely reasonable, very generous. We have an air mattress in the guest room that has a full bath, but that was not good enough apparently. That's when we got up and left. They began yelling after us, saying we don't care about the children, family helps family, etc. We're being greedy and selfish. Being greedy for wanting to live in your own house? Fuck off. I'm honestly so proud of how you reacted because my first instinct was to go off and say some hurtful things, but we just went home to our home. We love sister-in-law's kids and obviously don't want them to be homeless, but they don't need my house at the expense of my own children and family. I don't see why sister-in-law's family deserves my home. What about my kids? Now the in-laws are calling and texting, saying we don't care about the kids, we're selfish and greedy, making her homeless, and I'm wondering if maybe we were too quick to say no. So am I the asshole for not giving my home to my sister-in-law? Absolutely fucking not. This is like so clear to me, there's not even really anything to explain. Like honestly, if the sister-in-law's parents feel so strongly about it, why don't they give up their home? The divorce has nothing to do with OP and her family. This is fucking ridiculous. You're not the asshole. I'm also proud of you for behaving in a way that you're proud of 2 days later. Good for you. And good on the husband as well for just saying no straight away, because don't even entertain that. Like I say, it was already very generous to offer your home to 5 people while they find somewhere else. Like how long is that going to take? Gosh, probably months at least. That's already very generous, but absolutely not the fucking asshole for not gifting your house that you're living in to another person. Ridiculous. Next. Am I the asshole? My parents demand that I pay them all of my salary after travelling expenses, and I want to refuse. Well, this sounds like a ridiculous request anyway, but maybe there's context. So hello everyone, I'm a 22-year-old male and recently started my first ever job as a graduate engineer after finishing my bachelor's in engineering last year. I make around 1.9k per month. I will try to show the breakdown of my spending in the last 6 months since I've started my job. Is that really necessary? Around 400 goes towards seasonal train pass that I buy per month for a 1.5 hour journey to the office. I try to keep at least 100 for emergencies and have been trying to save money, but due to many other reasons, my parents demand that I transfer all that I have in my account. Since I'm from an Asian household, parental respect is a big thing, and from very young, in every argument, I've been told to be grateful for being born, which is absolute fucking bullshit. Let's not get into that right now, but it's bullshit. We have to treat our parents like gods and basically serve them to the best of our capabilities to pay them back for raising us. I don't mind this and was happy for once to be able to somehow pay back my parents, and have been doing this for the past 6 months. But I'm getting tired. My job is stressful and a typical 7.5 hours per day job. I travel by train in the morning and even 1.5 hours each way. Then since I started going to the gym again after work to take care of my health, I reach home by 10 p.m. Then basically I just eat and sleep. I don't have time for anything else in my life. To solve this, I've started driving practice and booked a driving test soon. I told my parents that this is so that they don't have to bother driving me to the train station and I can do chores for them, but really, all I actually want is a bit more independence. All valid reasons. The next step in my plan is to save enough money for a deposit and to rent a room in a house share. But I don't know how to bring this up to my parents. Due to the past 6 months, they have started taking my sending them money as normal, and I feel like they consider it as theirs. Just today, when I got my salary, they told me to send them 1.5k, as they somehow have the account in negative of 2,000, which I find mind-boggling. I can't understand how they even got to this point. We didn't even do anything special this month. All I know is that they were looking to buy a new fridge, and I advised them to first save money and start monthly payments after a few months. So you're having to give your fucking parents financial advice because they're spending money that they don't have and that you also don't have to give them. So I have doubts that maybe they paid the full cost up front. I can't imagine how else they can land so deep in negative, or maybe they just took my payslip as granted and made this decision. At first they asked for 2k, but I told them honestly that I don't have that much, so they said, okay, then give us 1.5. But if I do give them this, then I will again be broke this month with less than 100 left after train tickets. I don't know what to do. I think I'm stuck in a cycle, and without moving out, I would never be independent. I have doubts that maybe they're doing this intentionally to keep me with them. I want to refuse, but this might sour a relationship, which would pain me. I don't know what to do. So are you the asshole for wanting to say no to paying all of your salary to your parents? No, you're a 22-year-old adult, okay? I absolutely think that when a child has a job and is staying with their parents, that they should contribute some money towards rent, because they're earning money now, so it teaches them some financial responsibility. And also, as OP said, it's a small way to sort of like give back. Like, yes, I know that looking after me and having me in the house costs more than this, but I'm making a contribution because I'm earning money now. However, giving all of your money and not having anything to show for the work that you've done, nothing to spend on things for yourself like clothes that you might need, learning materials that you might need, food that you might need, do you know what I mean? Never mind money to save. Like, I think if your parents are supportive, they should want you to be able to save money so that you can then buy things for yourself, so that you can live independently, so that you have money to, you know, if they're that selfish, look after them in the future. If they're literally taking away all of your money from you, they are keeping you dependent on them. And I would not be surprised, as you say, if that was part of their plan, because as an Asian person myself, I know that the way that children are talked about is fucking ridiculous. This whole you should be grateful just to be born, like the fact that I gave you life should be enough reason for you to fucking kiss my feet. Do you know what I mean? Absolute fucking bullshit. But I also know, have you ever seen Don't Fuck With Cats? This documentary on Netflix, right? And I can't remember the name of the guy, but one of the murder victims was this Asian guy, and when his friend, also an Asian guy, was speaking about him, what really pissed me off is that he didn't say, that's such a shame they've lost their child, you know, no parent should have to bury their child. He said, that's a shame, now they don't have anyone to look after them when they're old. Is that seriously the only reason to have a child? Because you want someone to look after you when you're old? I think that's disgusting, but unfortunately, that is a common feeling, not just in Asian cultures. From what I've experienced, seen, heard, read, etc. I think that's just fucking ridiculous. I think it's disgusting. I think that, like in one of the previous posts, you know, about that 13-year-old kid who didn't want his mum, like, bringing another child into the world. If you bring children into the world, that's your decision. You have to be responsible for looking after those kids. Those kids don't fucking owe you anything. Until the point where they're adults, they're earning money, and they can give you a token of their appreciation and a gesture towards the fact that you still allow them to live for you when they're no longer a minor. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand the difference? One is I am literally fucking dependent on you for life. You have to provide for me. That is your fucking social and legal responsibility, moral responsibility. And then there's like just fully taking advantage of someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's unreasonable to expect your child to give you all of their salary and not have anything left over. Completely unreasonable. So I don't think you're an asshole. I think that you should approach it in such a way like, hey, I'm an adult. At some point, I'm going to want to live my own life, be independent, and for that, I need to be able to save money. Why don't I give you this much money every month instead? Full stop. Do you know what I mean? You didn't ask for that advice, but that's what I would advise. Second last one. Am I the asshole for not wanting my wife on a deed to the new house? This person has already been deemed not the asshole, but let's see. So my wife and I have been married for 3 years and have generally kept our finances separate. We were both working when we got married, although I make significantly more. She stopped working when we had a kid, at which time I set up a joint account funded entirely by me for her to use for her expenses. We both owned homes prior to marriage and we kept both. We've been living in my home and she didn't want to rent her home out and uses it more or less like a vacation property. Okay, if you've got the fucking money to do that, then fine. We recently found a new home to buy together, but it would require at least one of the homes we own to be sold in order to afford it. She does not want to sell her place, nor does she want to contribute any of her substantial liquid investments to the new house. She claims her contribution is staying at home and taking care of the baby. Let's continue. For what it's worth, I've never discouraged her to go back to work and told her we could arrange childcare. I told her that I did not expect her to pay half of the down payment since we have a disparity in income, nor do I expect her to contribute to the monthly payments since she's not working, but that if she wants to be on the deed, she needs to contribute some reasonable amount of her savings. If she wants me to sell my premarital home and pay 100% of the down payment and all of the upkeep on the home while she sits on her cash mountain of investments and contributes nothing, then the house needs to be in my name only. She's accusing me of not valuing her work as a mum. Incidentally, I work full time and contribute more than my fair share of childcare on evenings and weekends, and said if I wanted things to be fair, I could carry and deliver our next baby. To be clear, I'm a man. Am I the asshole here? No. I think that the way that you've laid this out is all completely, all completely reasonable, okay? So yes, she contributes by being a stay-at-home mother and taking care of the child. Absolutely, that is worth something. That is a contribution. But OP's already said, I don't expect you to pay half, and I don't expect you to even contribute anything to the mortgage payments. But I'm having to sell my house. You don't want to sell your house. You also don't want to live in your house, and you've got all this money from investments. And you're saying that the fact that you look after a child, not all of the time, just most of the time, of course, because OP is still the dad, still has responsibilities of his own. You're saying that because of that, you don't want to contribute anything to the house, you don't want to sacrifice anything for the house, but you still want to be on the deed. I don't fucking think so. Let me tell you, when I bought my first house, I paid the entire deposit. We both contributed half to the monthly payments, but I paid the entire deposit. I put him on the deed and I fucking regret it. Don't really believe in regrets. I believe in more in lessons learned. So I use that term loosely, but it was an expensive lesson for me, let's just say that. But you know, at the time it's always like, well, we love each other, what's gonna happen, we trust each other, blah, blah, blah. And then you wish you signed a prenup. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think this person is being totally reasonable. Like, the wife doesn't want to give up anything. She just wants to gain. And I don't think that's fair. Like, of course, you can't put a price. You can't, to be clear, you cannot put a price on the effort of raising a child, looking after a child. But, as I say, the dad is also looking after the child, and he's also not asking you to pay half or even to make an ongoing contribution. So at some point, you need to come a few steps towards the middle. Do you know what I'm saying? Cool. Last one. Let me know how the sound is, by the way. I noticed on my last few videos, like, as I get worked up and I start speaking louder, then it starts sort of clipping out. I've turned down, like, the threshold to try and stop that, but I don't know if it's low enough. So let me know in the comments how the sound has been okay for you. or how the sound has been for you, whether it's okay. Anyway, last one. Am I the asshole for refusing to take down a picture that has my son's dead name? This person's been deemed not the asshole, and I want to know why. So I, 42-year-old female, have a son Ben who is a 19-year-old male, with my husband Tom. Ben was born as a girl and realised by 16 that he wanted to transition and go from female to male. Me and Tom weren't initially supportive, and I took longer to come around, and only did so after Tom passed in an accident and I realised how distant my relationship with Ben was. When Ben was born, Tom got a tattoo of our then daughter's name on his arm, and we have a lovely picture together of me, Tom and Ben at a few months old at the beach where Tom's tattoo is visible. Ben doesn't like me to keep the picture up. Ben doesn't like me to keep the picture up of him past when he was a kid or older and still female presenting, so I only have pictures out in the house of him as a toddler or as an adult now. The only picture that I have not agreed to take down is the one of us at the beach. I really like that one, and Ben's only issue is the tattoo, but for me it's one of my happiest memories that day and I don't want to take it down. Ben is very upset about me keeping that picture up and says I'm being cruel as it reminds him of his dead name. Edit to add, Tom passed when Ben was still female presenting, so the only photo I have of us three that Ben likes, well, used to like, is the one at the beach where Ben is a lot younger and wearing a gender neutral outfit. Also, the photo is up in the hallway portion just outside my bedroom, which is not anywhere near Ben's room and will not be seen by house guests unless they come to my room. So am I the asshole for refusing to take down a picture that my son that other picture that has my son's dead name? Okay. So what I think is good is that OP has taken down every other photo that Ben doesn't like. This is the only one remaining. And I think it's also good that OP acknowledges that they initially were not supportive, but that it wasn't worth their fucking relationship and has now started respecting their son's wishes, which I think is great. I thought this would be something else, but in context, it's like, okay, well, fair enough. It's a tattoo that the late father had of his then daughter's name. It's not like he can get it covered up. He's passed away now. However, what I think would be a great solution is to get that image edited or somehow photoshopped to remove or to hide the tattoo in the image. So I don't know whether you have a digital version of the picture, or if you still have like the original films that the picture was developed from, or even, you know, people can do all sorts with a good scanner these days, you know. I think that would be a great compromise, to take it to some professional and get the tattoo digitally edited out, and then I think that would be sort of the best of both worlds, because if Ben is only bothered by the name and not by how they are presenting in the picture, that should solve the problem. Do I think you're the asshole? It's a tricky one. I don't think you're trying to be an asshole, but I can understand why Ben is upset. If we assume that, for whatever reason, say we pretend that the technology isn't there, and if you can't get the photo edited, why don't you put the photo physically in your room, swap out for another photo and have that picture just in your room so you can still enjoy it, but Ben doesn't have to look at it? Because I understand what you're saying, like, yeah, no one will see it unless they go into my room, but it's still in the hallway, it's still in a public area, and someone still might see it, and sometimes maybe Ben still just, you know, catches it on the side of his eye or something like that. So I think that would be two really good options for you. But actually, I'm surprised that I do agree that you're not the asshole as such, but I think also that it's a reasonable request to ask to not have it up anymore. Cool, what do you think about those stories? Let me know in the comments down below, and again, let me know how the sound has been for you. I hope it's not been too bad. Oh, the lighting. It's like, it's during the day, so like the sun is moving around with the clouds and everything like that, and as I say, it's like, it was messing with the lighting, making everything weird, but I hope that the episode was okay, that you could see me, that you could hear me, all the rest of it. Thank you very much for watching. As always, you can check out some of my other videos if you so wish. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye bye.